So I'm just going to go through my Slack and see what messages Stephanie sent me. In the meantime, if you have any specific questions for the panelists, anyone? I see a hand there.
L'été 2014, là, ça s'appelle The Summer of Shitcoin. Alors, j'ai mis The Summer of Shitcoin Commemorative Coin à l'automne, juste pour en rire. C'est dans mon Twitter, là. Tout le monde lance des monnaies numériques. Puis, à l'époque, il y a le Aurora Coin qui est sorti pour l'Islande. Puis, il y a quelqu'un qui décide de faire un Asia Coin, puis un Spain Coin, puis un
Dutch Coin,
Irish Coin, un Golden. Electronic Golden, il vaut cher. Puis, il y a quelqu'un qui a lancé un Québec Coin. C'est un scam total, c'est un scam coin. Sauf que moi, je l'ai repris. Parce que la technologie est déjà là, la blockchain, elle vaut déjà 32 000. Hey, on va ramasser ça. Tu sais, c'est peut-être la manière la plus facile de rentrer sur le marché, c'est d'acheter une blockchain qui existe déjà. Alors, si on est capable de se mettre en contact avec tout le monde qui ont les coins, là, puis de ramasser leurs coins. C'est-à-dire que moi, aujourd'hui, je sais c'est qui je sais que toutes les personnes qui ont investi et qui ont beaucoup de Québécois qui ne sont pas des mineurs puis des spéculateurs veulent leur donner à la communauté. Puis le Québécois peut juste marcher s'il y a plein de monde qui en ont. Ça veut dire que ça vient avec le rebranding que je vais faire. Ça va s'appeler la POC. Puis la POC, bien, tu en as des POC parce qu'il faut que tu passes des POC à d'autres mondes. Puis il y a un projet, genre Internet of Things Device, que je vais développer qui va avec ça, mais qui pourrait être utilisé pour les autres blockchains aussi. Puis moi, je m'en sers en fin de compte parce que ça ne me coûte rien acheter ça. Ça me coûte 40 satoshi acheter un Québécois, mais ça me coûterait 60 satoshi en miner un parce que ça coûte cher l'électricité ici. Ça veut dire que moi, je vais rajouter une fonctionnalité dedans, puis je vais m'en servir pour faire des jeux. Je m'en sers pour vous éduquer. Puis si vous voulez perdre, bien, il n'y a personne qui va pleurer, là.
Cette réponse alternative un petit peu. Ce qui est intéressant, c'est que Stéphanie, tu prends la devise au sérieux, mais je veux dire, tu dis pas que ça va genre remplacer Bitcoin overnight, là, ce qui est souvent le cas des entre guillemets shitcoins. Pour répondre à ta question, il n'y a pas beaucoup de crypto-devises qui ont une proposition de valeur réelle. Par exemple, il y en a peut-être 4-5. Tu as par exemple des crypto-devises comme Zcash ou Monero qui vont avoir une espèce de privacy ou disons, d'une anonymité disons, plus élevée que Bitcoin. Tu peux avoir Litecoin, par exemple, que la blockchain est plus rapide. Puis là, ben, Litecoin, il y a une fonctionnalité de Bitcoin qu'on tente d'activer, qui a été activée sur Litecoin. Donc, il y a quelques crypto-devises, disons, qui ont une valeur ajoutée intéressante dans la technologie elle-même. Mais pour le reste, là, dans les, disons, top 100, je te dirais que 95% c'est des pump and dump. Là. Donc, mais c'est intéressant de voir qu'il y a des projets qui se prennent pas, pas dire qu'ils se prennent pas au sérieux, parce que vous mettez du temps dedans, là, mais tu comprends ce que je veux dire. Donc, c'est un peu ça. En fait, c'est pas parce que tu lances une crypto-devise que ça va marcher. Là. Une crypto-devise marche parce qu'il y a du monde qui pompe, puis à un moment donné, ça vend, puis ça dompe. Là. Si ça prend 100% de journée, ça perd souvent 100% de journée d'après. Mais
en même temps, ça fait le pont un peu sur de quoi que je voulais rajouter à ce sujet-là. Il y a une notion ça, qui est grandissante aujourd'hui dans l'économie. À base, ça part pas avec les cryptos, mais ça va vraiment répondre à pourquoi il y a un Québec Coin, puis pourquoi il y aurait un Chine Coin. C'est tout ce qui est monnaie complémentaire, c'est vraiment un sentiment qui est de plus en plus populaire. Si on pogne en Europe, il y a peut-être une quarantaine de monnaies complémentaires qui existent, là, dont le VIR en Suisse, qui est la plus grande, là, qui a plusieurs millions en circulation de monnaie. Donc, l'esprit de vouloir utiliser une monnaie complémentaire, c'est un buzz. Il y a une demande pour ça à travers le globe qui est grandissante. Donc, des coins comme Québec Coin, ça va chercher un peu ces sentiments-là d'appartenance puis d'usage entre nous, de communauté. C'est juste le point.
Tu peux le faire.
Oui, c'est que tu peux le faire facilement, c'est facile à faire.
Oh, oui. So I have some questions here.
Who backs the money?
Which one?
Who is backing the money? Who is guaranteeing the money?
Who's backing gold?
That's the United States.
No, there's nobody backing gold. Who's backing gold? There's no central authority.
That's the American dollar that's doing that at the moment.
Wow. No, so at first the US dollar was backed by gold, but then this was removed. The peg was removed from gold. Yeah. So cryptocurrency, for example, let's talk about Bitcoin.
Okay, so let's go back then before 71. What was backing gold before 71? Demand. Right.
Demand, yeah.
Right. And so
the intrinsic value of gold.
The man decided to step away.
Yeah.
So he's been away for 40 years now.
Yeah.
So who's backing your money?
for example, Bitcoin. There's nothing but the technology itself. It's backed by its own feature. You're not able to duplicate a Bitcoin. It's decentralized. It's distributed. No central authority controlled Bitcoin. It's the same thing as gold. It's the value is established by the market in terms of consensus and not trust. So you cannot trust gold and not trust Bitcoin. It's the same set of features. So you can, but you have some kind of cryptocurrencies that will be pegged to. For example, there is one crypto that's called Tether USD.
Yeah, Tether.
It's worth $1 and sometimes a little bit more or a little bit less depending on the market. But the stash of Tether coin is pegged to some quantity of US dollars, and that's the purpose. It's just to have a digital token that's worth $1 to allows you to exchange between exchanges, for example.
The basis of money is to exchange, small coins for services or goods.
Yeah,
right?
sure. It's a mean of exchange.
It's a means of exchange. Governments back that means of exchange. They support that means of exchange.
But did you know that money emerged without government?
Yes.
Initial tries were trading like shells and beans and they just had some kind of.
They were backing it up.
No.
They were. They're participating in it.
No, but what is backing? What does it mean, backing to you?
Who's trusting?
Well, there's a shitload of people trusting Bitcoin today.
I think the conversation got super interesting. We're going to take some more questions. We're going to take that's the moderator's job, right? We're going to take some more questions from Slack. A lot of these questions were not actually given to a specific speaker, so I'm just going to see who's more appropriate for what question. So I think this would be appropriate for Leah. Are ICOs permitted when a company is in sandbox?
So the ICO, is that?
Initial coin offering.
Yeah, what's the question? Okay.
Like the DAO or...
Does the ICO...
That's a good question. To be fair, the sandbox, I think, is not even open yet, and I don't know what...
And the thing is, the sandbox is you have to be... You have to be regulated to operate in the sandbox. So the ICO itself, because I'm on the EMF and they kind of just explain it to us, to be part of the sandbox, you have to have some kind of exception of a regulated product. So if the ICO is not regulated, you have some kind of no interest to be in this. That's what I understood. So.
But in any event, I think to be in the sandbox, you need to have a project that brings something interesting, something new.
I think that it's more for something like crowdfunding or exactly. For example, insurance or some kind of like hedge fund that could be like regulated by actual regulators. But what the regulator explained us at the EMF, he said, if your token is a securities, if it's equity, it is applied by the law, the securities law that you have actually. So it's the same thing with the money laundering.
I have a different angle to that. So all the regulations are towards securities, and there's been a previous history tracing the definitive line between what is a security in a blockchain context and what is not. And just like when people were funding for a condo, but it was crowdfunded, so people in New York wanted to do that 5 years ago, and they wanted to grab investors, many sources crowdfund the purchase of a condo. And since people were using the condo to live in it, okay, let's think about time sharing. Time sharing is not a security since it has a purpose. The person lives in it. So by having a utility outside of trying to make profit out of it, it's not considered security. So if there's a purpose tied to your cryptocurrency you're trying to launch, then you don't even need a sandbox because it's not going to be recognized as a security.
It creates a set of problem as well, because there's a clear example, for example, crowdfunding. There's a project, I don't know if you heard about it, it's called Oculus. Oculus was started as a crowdfunding project. People invested $1,000, $2,000. And Oculus was bought for $2 billion by Facebook. And people who put like $10,000 were kind of pissed to not receive a dime from that sale. So crowdfunding, same as ICO, will create a big load of problem incoming when like these company will exit in some kind of way or crash or so.
That's the way it is. Yeah. You don't get shares when you crowdfund.
Yeah, sure.
That's just that's a bummer for people that invested, but that's pretty much the deal. That was the deal initially.
But is that not the problem that can happen like later on with
It could, but that's pretty much the deal.
Yeah.
You go on a lighter legal structure to bypass this. So by investing in those ICO, you know you're not going to see the return if they sell. That's pretty much, that's the deal.
The orientation that we try to influence the regulator is to try to regulate, not regulating the technology, but the behavior. We already have laws for securities and money laundering and terrorist protection. So why, we saw what is with the problem with trying to regulate technology with Uber. It took 3 years to make Uber work in Montreal. It doesn't make any sense. So we have already a set of laws of securities and money laundering. So we don't have to narrow that down to some kind of vehicle like cryptocurrencies, I guess.
In '98, the FBI came up with a company I worked at.
Sorry?
Took away the president's computer. Multinational company, billions of dollars, and in the end, he's running 2 sets of books. So my question to you, and this is like what it comes up down to, is like you're talking about companies coming in with all sorts of like projects and schemes.
Yeah, hundreds of millions in financing.
Okay, and where is the governance or the regulation that says that, say, this isn't improperly funded or that it's not coming from another set of books like Hollywood?
Yeah, so I think that's the challenge where, like for firm like KPMG, so how this new asset class will be audited, taxed. So it's really a new paradigm. So I guess you could answer more of that.
Well, it's a broad question, and I think we're discovering answers as we are. For example, ICOs that are interesting. I mean, some are just pure. Well, let's call them crowdfunding in the same way we crowdfund on everything else. But once you attach an ICO to a share, then all the laws and regulation from that securities apply right away. So, for example, and unfortunately I don't have a name now, there's an ICO out of Singapore a couple of months ago that is considered an asset in Singapore, but could only raise 50 shareholders in the States because it was linked to a share of a company. So they limited it to 50 people in the States to actually do this. And we're starting to see multi-country regulation being impacted by this or being applied. And this is new for everyone. Where an ICO actually works pretty well is when it's not linked to a share, but it's linked to a token that's actually used within the service. So then it becomes a traded asset, digital asset, and it will take
Ethereum was launched on that
value outside of a share environment. And talking about shares, we can talk about a different system, for example, that is put in place between Chain and the NASDAQ called Link. It's a system that helps companies actually keep a record of their shares, a bit like we were talking about. It's not actually linked, it's not actually the shares, it's just a record of the shares. And it helps with the voting and the record of the votes that happen over time and how you proxy a vote and so on and so forth.
It's
and that is happening.
Board of management votes and
exactly. Well, the shareholder votes actually.
And that's kind of interesting.
I wanted to answer his question because I've done this. Okay, you asked, you say the FBI came over and took the books, and the CEO had 2 books. Okay, so let's take it back. Blockchain. It's a ledger of all transactions that's publicly available so everybody can look at it. Okay, how do you know your project initiator is not cooking the books? Well, you take your Bitcoins and you send it to your own personalized address, so the source of this money is forever known by the Bitcoin blockchain. And you can see everybody else who's giving money, your percentage and all that stuff. And once you have access to this address, you can watch the money where it's going. So if screwy things are happening, you're going to be able to see it and ask. So it helps with transparency.
Actually, last question for all of you. Do you see Bitcoin as replacing money, or do you see money as continuing?
I see Bitcoin as replacing gold as a storage of value. where new cryptocurrency will be.
That's a definitive statement.
Yeah.
Guys, we have
Well,
space
yeah,
for.
it functions like gold.
We have
Yeah,
time for one more question because we have to leave this specific room by 8 p.m. But you guys can continue the conversation on Slack, and we're moving into the next room for the remaining portion of networking.
If you pay me a free drink, I can answer any question.
You're gonna be there all night long.
So another question that was super interesting is, are predictive platforms for cryptocurrencies legal in terms of their future value?
Can you repeat that, sir?
Are predictive platforms for cryptocurrencies legal?
Predictive, like
yeah.
prediction
so
market?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're. I mean, well, I don't know. I mean,
If it's a lottery, it would be regulated.
yeah,
It's
sure.
gonna be regulated for sure.
I mean, do you have a point of view on that?
I just want to say, some of us may be lawyers, but none of us are your lawyers until you pay us. So this is not legal advice.
No, this is
Thank you.
disclaimer. This is
And
not.
I would say, I actually think that the law actually speaks against what you two were saying. Specifically, if there's consumption value in your token, does not make it exempt to securities regulation. There's such a thing as a Howey test. So if you pass a Howey test, if there's an expectation of return, and someone else is managing your money, toss like a duck, toss like a duck, toss like a duck, it's a duck. Even if you say, just by saying, hey, I'm going to launch an ICO, and it's not going to have any other consumption value other than the fact that I'm going to purposefully block every other payment method and only accept that as a payment method. For example, like Netflix was saying that you can only pay with Netflix shares. The regulator is going to see right through that. So definitely, you should be 6 lawyers deep before you launch an ICO.
In terms of legality, the problem we could have is the same thing with like poker platforms here, like governments trying to regulate internet gambling. To me, it's kind of stupid. People will always find ways to, like with VPN or something. So we really have to see a true like new set of highs in terms of legal aspect on how we should accommodate our current laws with these new technologies.
On the question that any prediction market, whether it is on Bitcoin or on the sea level or whatever you want as an underlying asset, it's going to be regulated for sure. Whatever if it's a share, or if it's the price of Bitcoin, or if it's whatever the temperature in San Francisco, every future market is derivative and they are securities, as it is.
Well, with that being said, thank you so much, panelists, for